A friend called me in a mild panic after her 4-year-old had discovered crayons and decided the white hallway walls looked like a blank canvas. Huge scribbles, spirals, and drawings across about 6 feet of wall. She'd scrubbed with soap and water, nothing. Called a painter. Got quoted $300 just for the hallway. Before she paid, I talked her through a $1 oil technique I'd used when my kids did the same thing years before. 30 minutes of work, some patience, and the crayon was completely gone. The walls looked untouched. She saved the $300, and her kids even helped with the cleanup, which made the whole thing into a lesson rather than a punishment. Let me walk you through why crayon is so hard to remove from walls, why the usual cleaners don't work, and the $1 oil that handles it every time. First, let's talk about what crayon actually is. Wax crayons are pigment suspended in a wax binder, usually paraffin wax. When a crayon makes contact with a wall surface, the friction heats the wax slightly, making it pliable enough to transfer to the wall and bond with any texture or porosity in the paint. The result is a colorful wax deposit that's physically stuck to the wall. Standard cleaners like soap and water don't remove crayon because wax isn't water soluble. Soap doesn't have any effect on the wax binder. Scrubbing. With a cloth, just moves the wax around without removing it. Stronger cleaners like ammonia or all-purpose sprays are marginally better, but often leave a colored smear. What removes wax effectively is heat, oil-based solvents, or certain abrasive actions. All three work on the same principle of either softening the wax for removal or physically lifting it off the paint. The $1 oil approach uses any of several common oils. Mayonnaise, vegetable oil, or olive oil work well. Baby oil works. WD-40 works. The key is an oil-based substance that penetrates the wax and allows it to release from the wall. Here's what you need. Mayonnaise, vegetable oil, or WD-40. A soft cloth, paper towels, a toothbrush for stubborn areas, magic eraser sponges for tough cases, mild dish soap, clean water, optional, a hairdryer. Here's the basic approach. Method 1, the mayonnaise method. Apply a dollop of regular mayonnaise directly to the crayon mark. Spread it over the crayon with your finger or a cloth. Let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. The oil in the mayonnaise penetrates and softens the wax. Wipe off with a dry cloth, then wipe again with a damp cloth to remove the mayo residue. The crayon should come off with the mayo. Method 2, the vegetable oil method. Apply a small amount of vegetable oil or olive oil to a cloth. Rub the cloth over the crayon marks. The oil penetrates the wax, releases it from the wall, and the wax transfers to the cloth. Keep turning the cloth to clean areas. For stubborn marks, apply oil directly to the mark and work with the cloth. Method 3, the WD-40 method. Spray WD-40 on the crayon marks or on a cloth if you need to control where it goes. Wipe with the cloth. The solvents in WD-40 dissolve the wax effectively. Wipe any remaining oil off with a damp cloth and dish soap after. Method 4, the heat method. Set a hairdryer. On medium heat, direct the air at the crayon marks. The heat softens the wax. Wipe off with a cloth as the wax becomes pliable. Works well for light marks and is useful when you don't want any oils on the wall. Method 5, the magic eraser. For walls that are fine with gentle abrasion, a magic eraser sponge, about $2 for a pack, removes crayon effectively. Wet the eraser, rub gently on the marks. The eraser is a mild abrasive that lifts crayon off paint without damaging the paint in most cases. Good for finishing touches after the oil methods for different paint types. Flat paint is the most challenging for crayon removal because the slight texture catches and holds the wax. Use gentle oil methods and test in a small area first. Some flat paint shows marks or shiny spots after cleaning. Eggshell and satin paint remove crayon relatively easily with oil methods, and the finish is durable enough to handle some rubbing. Semi-gloss and gloss paint are the easiest to clean. Oil methods or even just warm soapy water may be enough. For specialty paints like chalkboard or dry erase, the surfaces are often more receptive to cleaning but may have specific care instructions. For textured walls, the texture catches crayon more stubbornly. The oil methods still work but may require more persistence. A toothbrush helps work oil into the texture. For wallpaper, be careful. Some wallpapers are sensitive to oil and moisture. Test in a hidden area first. Paper-based wallpapers can be damaged by too much rubbing. Vinyl wallpapers tolerate more cleaning. After removing the crayon, check the paint. If the paint is clean and undamaged, you're done. Wipe any remaining residue and move on. If the paint has some slight dulling or color difference, a quick wipe. With a soft cloth, it may even it out as the paint surface re-equilibrates. If the paint has actually been lifted or damaged, a small touch-up with matching paint may be needed. Most paint stores can match a color sample for touch-ups. For walls with other kid-related damage beyond crayon, various approaches apply. For marker, especially permanent marker, rubbing alcohol on a cloth removes it from most paint. Isopropyl alcohol at 50% or higher concentration works. Test in a hidden area first. For pen ink, the same alcohol approach works. For pencil marks, an eraser often handles them. A pink rubber eraser or a magic eraser. For food stains like jelly or juice, mild soap and water usually suffice. For sticker residue, a mixture of dish soap and oil removes most residues. Rub gently, preventing future crayon incidents. Store crayons in a designated supervised area rather than randomly available. Kids with free access to crayons often find creative surfaces. Provide lots of paper, coloring books, and appropriate surfaces so kids have outlets for their creativity that don't involve walls. Introduce washable markers for younger children, which come off walls more easily than regular crayons. Have a specific art corner with a chalkboard wall, paint, and paper for kids to use freely. If kids are very young, consider keeping rooms off limits when unsupervised until they learn which surfaces are for drawing. A few honest notes. For walls painted many years ago with paint that might have degraded, cleaning can sometimes expose underlying issues. Be gentle and work incrementally. For walls painted with cheap or low-quality paint, even gentle cleaning can leave shiny spots or color inconsistencies. Sometimes, the easiest fix is painting over the affected area. For kids who've done extensive damage across multiple rooms, the cleaning approach still works. Just plan for multiple sessions. Work room by room. For parents dealing with this for the first time, don't panic. Crayon on walls is extremely common and almost always removable with patience. The fix is usually cheaper and easier than you'd expect. For subsequent incidents, you'll likely find you can handle them quickly, now that you know the method. The economic comparison. Pennies for mayonnaise or oil you already have, a few dollars for WD-40 or magic eraser. Total, under $5 for supplies to address a crayon incident, versus $200 to $500 for professional wall cleaning or repainting, or the emotional cost of living with the crayon marks because you assumed they were permanent. One more tip. Turn the cleanup into a lesson. Involve the child who did the drawing. Show them how to wipe the crayon off. Explain that walls aren't for drawing, but they have a bunch of paper or a coloring book or an easel available. The lesson sticks better when the child experiences the cleanup process. For rental properties, knowing the crayon removal method helps address damage before move-outs. Landlords with kid-friendly units often see this issue. A quick wipe down between tenants keeps the property showing well. For grandparents or child care providers, having the know-how to handle crayon incidents keeps the parents of the kids happier and allows you to provide engaging activities without worry. And your walls don't need to look perfect to be a home. Some marks are the records of family life. Others are just too much. For the ones that cross your threshold, there's almost always a fix. For less than $1 and a few minutes of work. If your walls have crayon drawings you assumed were permanent, try the mayonnaise or oil approach this afternoon. Pick one small mark as a test. You'll likely be surprised how easily it comes off. Then work through the rest systematically. By the end of the evening, your walls will look untouched. For pennies, and a little patience compared to hundreds of dollars in repainting,